Daddy is finally back from getting milk from the store, and what glorious spoils I have returned with. For today, we are covering the Studio Series 86 Optimus Prime. About a year late. This is a surprisingly hard figure to get a hold of unless you're willing to bend a knee to scalpers. Fuckers. Now, it is no secret that practically everyone loved this figure on release. But was all this love really justified, or was it just the hype? Honestly, I'm surprised it's taken me this long to cover an Optimus Prime, considering just how much I like him. But if there was ever an Optimus to start with, it's this one. Starting in vehicle mode, I have to admit it's a pretty spot-on interpretation of the classic flat-nosed truck from the movie. The bright red and the dark blue is almost perfect, and the little bits of yellow and silver stand out in the best of ways. There's one bit of silver that's missing, however. The silver line on the cab that so many versions of Optimus are cursed with is nowhere to be seen.
Oh god, it's so good.
Now, let me get this figure's cock out of my throat for just a moment, because it is not perfect. My first issue is one that practically every Optimus Prime figure has. The back half of the truck is just a little too long. Although, to be fair, the only figures that I can think of that actually got this detail right are some of the Michael Bay figures. Just from a glance, I can see at least 5 different ways this figure is mistransformed. Fucking ew. Another issue is the smokestacks. They are just a hair too loose. There's also the gaps in the truck mode. They're pretty obvious even from a distance, although, if I'm being honest, I'm willing to give them a pass considering the engineering that's needed for the transformation. Another issue I'm willing to look past is the big gap in the back of the cab. I can't think of a way around it without compromising the robot mode or the transformation, and I'm not really sure why, but it actually doesn't bother me all that much. Something that does bother me very much is all the paint defects and chips. If I didn't buy and open this from the sealed box myself, I would have sworn it was pre-owned. Hell, I'm still not completely convinced it wasn't. Straight out of the box, there are little paint chips in areas like the top of the headlights. But that's not even the worst of it. In a few areas, the plastic was fully chipped or distorted. Thankfully, these issues were rare, but for $80+, I'd expect them not to be there at all. Then there's the backlights / heels. I won't spend too much time on this because I know almost everyone else has, but the first wave of this figure had an issue where the rear taillights were put on upside down, and they were pinned in, so it was not as simple as clipping them off. Now, if you have a pin punch set, it should be a simple fix, and I'll include a video in the description on how to do that. That being said, I actually already had a pin punch set, and I still wasn't able to get the pins out, so do with that info as you will. My last problem with the truck mode is that just too many of the parts do not fit together properly. For starters, some of you may have noticed, but the cab actually leans forward a bit because these side connections refuse to stay plugged in. Then if we look underneath, which, side note, is actually pretty clean, it might be difficult to see, but the front wheels don't plug into the cab properly either. Now, none of these are deal killers for me, and I do love how it looks, but each of these issues are ones I'd expect on like a $20, a $30 figure, let alone all of them on one that's 4 times the price. Now for size comparisons, first is Bumblebee, Red Alert, Optimus Prime, Optimus Prime, Optimus Prime, Optimus Prime, Optimus Prime, and my last review, the Gamer Edition Reactivate Bumblebee.
But wait! There's more!
The part of this figure that you either love or hate. Optimus's iconic trailer. I mean, it looks good, can connect to Optimus and rolls well. It looks okay with Legacy United G1 and Studio Series 38 too. If you look underneath, you can find these feet that you can flip out so that it can stand by itself. You can also open the back, and other Transformers can go back here. For reference, here's the Studio Series 86 RC. Although it's not that wide, it can fit more than I expected. The limit was ironically my last review, the Gamer Edition Bumblebee. The first half fits no problem, but the rear wheels are just slightly too wide. My favorite part about this trailer is the secrets that it hides though. If we come to the back and unclip the top of the bumper, we get this storage area with some effect parts. If we take these parts and attach them to the bottom of Optimus, we can recreate the scene where Optimus transformed in the original 86 movie. It's a simple and creative inclusion that gives you more display options for the truck other than just sitting there.
But wait! There's more!
There's this little guy. This guy is called Roller, which I actually forgot what he was called, so I checked the box. I'm pretty sure the box just refers to him as vehicle. He fits in the trailer. You can also attach the trailer to him, so that's neat. With all that covered, I think we're finally ready for the transformation. Alright, let me put its cock back in my mouth for a moment. For starters, the transformation is the perfect combination of complex yet simple. I could transform him 5 times back to back, and I don't think I'd get tired of it. Then there's the robot mode.
So good.
This guy looks pretty awesome. The proportions are almost perfect. The colors are still stunning, plus the white of his legs just coming out of nowhere, in addition to the added details, like the silver stripe on his chest, make this figure a marvel to look at in person. Matter of fact, one of my friends came over recently, and he legitimately thought it was a statue. Not that it couldn't transform, but that it wasn't a posable figure at all. That's impressive. Then there's the details like his head sculpt. Although I'll go ahead and say, it's not perfect, I cannot deny just how good it looks, especially with the paint on his eyes and the outlining done perfectly. Then there's the little details like his thigh and hip guards being white, but his actual hips being silver. Nice. Next is the kibble, and while I will admit they're pushing their limit due to him canonically having a backpack, I still think it's really impressive what they've been able to do here. I only wish they could have shaped it to make it more screen accurate. Flipping back around to his chest, he comes with the feature only the best primes get. First, we can open his chest to get a proper matrix chamber. Now, I could be wrong, but I believe this is the first Hasbro Optimus Prime that actually has this little extra cover. Simple, but appreciated. But that's not the money shot. Just lift the cover and, oh, that's the money shot. We can actually take out the Matrix to get a better view, and, it's the Matrix they've been using for like the last 10 years, but still perfectly sculpted and painted. I will note that it's a tad difficult to get out and put back in, but not that bad. And while we have the Matrix out, we can actually see all the molded details inside the chamber itself. Kinda, it was difficult to film, but let it be known that the details are nicely sculpted. Although I wish the Matrix chamber as a whole had more painted detail, at least the Matrix cover. Not saying I wanted it to be one-to-one to the movie, cause god, that would have been next to impossible. But, a little bit of paint and panel lining would have been nice. A weird little detail that I'm sure most of you already know about is if you take the Studio Series 86 Bumblebee and open up his chest, he has this gap for his head for when he transforms, but you can actually fit the Matrix into his chest. I wonder what the designers that made the Bumblebee meant by that.
Hey, now let me say I'm the biggest hater. I hate the way that you walk, the way that you talk. I hate the way that you dress.
Since we're talking about his accessories, I think it's appropriate to bring back the trailer, for it has more secrets to offer. You get this cute little battle station or combat deck. I'm not gonna lie, I don't think I'll ever display it like this, but it's cool that I have the option. More importantly is Optimus's other accessories that are stored in here. Starting with his cannon here, and it's simple, but it's done perfectly. The gunmetal silver looks perfect. That being said, I wish they either used a slightly brighter silver on the vents or a slightly darker silver for the gun, because the silvers are so close, it can be hard to see the details. To make the gun pop even more though, if we come back to the trailer, we can see two blast effect parts. If we take one, we can plug it into the end of the gun and yeah, that works. Next is his iconic energy axe. To attach it, you simply open his arm, hide his hand in there, and this will expose a peg. Just put the axe onto the end and this is so close. The warping on the axe and blast effects is just terrible. While the one blast effect part is actually not that bad, this is too much. Now, I'm sure I could fix it with a hairdryer, but for $80+ I shouldn't have to fix a goddamn thing.
But well, there's more.
Inside the combat deck, we also get this guy, the Brain Center. This guy can rotate its antenna and has a rotation, swivel, bend, and an opening hand on his arm. Can extend with 3 bends and a swivel at the head. It has an opening cockpit. We can also put him on top of Roller. Lastly, we can take the 2 blast effect parts from earlier and attach them to the front of his little guns. Honestly, the whole trailer with Roller and the Brain Center are cool and all, but I wouldn't be lying if I said I'd rather either the figure only be around $50 to $60 or the figure was the same price but with way more painted detail and quality control. Mainly because I'm probably never going to use like 2/3 of these in my display. Now that we're finally done with all of his accessories, we can move on to his posability, and I gotta say, it's something else. Now, while I can be a nitpicky bitch and point out the few areas that I wish there was a hair more posability, I'm pretty satisfied with what this guy can do. For size comparison, we got Bumblebee, Red Alert, Optimus Prime, Optimus Prime, Optimus Prime, Optimus Prime, Optimus Prime, and Bumblebee. This is hands down the best official Optimus Prime figure that has ever been made. And yes, I am including the Masterpiece figures. Now, notice my wording there though. Official Optimus Prime. We take out this prefix, and do I still think that's true? Honestly, I can't say for sure. When compared to figures that are sold around the same price like Element OP Leader or the Magic Square line, I can't say for sure due to me not having them, but I wouldn't bet against them. Overall, I wish this figure was either a tad cheaper or slightly higher quality, and that it was a lot easier to get a hold of. but I can recommend this figure if even slightly a fan of Optimus Prime, or the G1 aesthetic. In summary, I would allow this guy to commit war crimes.
No, Optimus!
Our fact of the day from Are You Shitting Me? 1004 facts that'll scare the crap out of you. Steeped snake wine is made by pickling a poisonous snake in a large jar of rice wine. The snake's venom is rendered harmless by the wine's high alcohol content. Also, P.S. I found out right as I was finishing that roller is almost the perfect scale for Lego minis.